Davy Turnbull could be on his way to AC Milan. Welcome back to the channel here on Fog Football. And of course, I think Davy Turnbull is an unrated man. Unrated? Underrated, because he's definitely rated by some. But for me, he's underrated. Now, the guy wasn't really favoured under Ange, but he always scores goals and he always seems to be getting himself round about the score sheet. I'm not saying he's the greatest player of all time, but he almost falls into like the James Forrest category of underappreciated. But I'd say he's much better than Forrest right now. Forrest has been a really good servant for Celtic, scoring 15 consecutive seasons. And I get Celtic's point. I don't think James Forrest should really be starting a Champions League game against Lazio when he's like, what, 31, 32. But the reality is, he is. So Celtic have got to deal with that. And deal with it. They do not deal with it because they don't seem to spend any sort of money. But this here is linking Davy Turnbull with an £8 million move to AC Milan, and I think Celtic would take that. I think the fact that not many of their own fans highly rate the guy. Rodgers, like, the odd time starts him over Hatate, but like realises that, here, if I start this guy over Hatate constantly, man, the mob are going to be completely against me. I think this deal would honestly suit all parties. I think this would be a really good deal for Celtic, 8 million. Now, they did sign him for free. It would be a 5 million profit, so you could maybe get a bit more, but they would probably get a sell-on fee linked. But as you're beginning to see, Serie A are being linked with a lot more Scottish players. They've seen the likes of Hickey, they've seen the likes of Ferguson, they've seen the likes of Doige, etc. come to that league and lay the smackdown. It really is that simple. So what do you guys think? Do you think 8 million for Davy Turnbull is a good deal, or do you guys think that is a pish deal? Leave it in the comment section down below. But let's talk about Lewis Ferguson. Of course, he was the subject of interest for Juventus. It was looking around 20 million that Bologna wanted. Now maybe they want a bit more from their Italian rivals, but at the same time, there is two Premier League clubs linked with him, Fulham and Nottingham Forest. But again, the problem is, like, you can talk about, well, Serie A rivalry. Premier League's got that money, and clubs across Europe know that. Forest and Fulham have signed absolute pish for way more than 20 million. So for that reason alone, I think it wouldn't even be a risk. Like, see a £20 million signing. See, unless your club's name's Luton, it's not even a risk. And then we've just got a question on the chase. At the end of 2022, Cristiano Ronaldo signed for a football team in which country? USA, Japan, or Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia. You guys got it right. Why not? Because that's where he went. It's not why not, that's where he went, man. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Celtic captain Cal McGregor is confident the club's board will hand Brendan Rodgers the cash needed to strengthen his team in January. But see, right, I'm not saying it's irrelevant strengthening in January, but Celtic should be strengthening in the summer for their Champions League campaign now. Yes, if they strengthen in January, they can build a team, and then maybe strengthen again in the summer for the Champions League next year if they get in it, which, I mean, they're top of the league, so let's just say theoretically they're in there. Is that really how Celtic are going to work? Get pumped at the Champions League and then be like, well, you know what, we needed to spend more money. I think that's a cheap way of looking at it. Well, Andy Walker has came out and says his former club Celtic would regard spending 10 million on any new recruits as a false economy, as they seek to improve a Champions League record that is a wee bit embarrassing. And I agree with that. I think Celtic do view it as a waste of money because, like, well, if we spend 10 extra million, is it really going to get us anywhere in the Champions League? I mean, it could. I mean, if Celtic spent, like, 5 million on a right winger, whatever, right sided midfielder, a right winger, you wouldn't have to be starting James Forrest. You wouldn't have to be relying on Mikey Johnston either, and then probably sign like another a proper left back. Even though I think Johnston's been shit this season. Sorry to burst everyone's fucking melon, guys, but I think the guy is absolutely mince. So anyway, let's see what's going on here in the big Aberdeen team news, because of course it's Thursday nights. We have got Kyle Roos, Rubizovic, McDonald, Jensen, Milne, Pulvara, Barron, Duncan, Hayes, Guy, and Duke up front. So will Aberdeen get a result now? As much as I would love to sit and review that game, I can't because I'm going to the Rangers game here. So I'm going to miss it. If you want to check out a match day vlog, then make sure you check out Big Stevie Cool's channel later on today. But anyway, guys, that's it for Fog Football. That's your latest. Will David Turnbull go to Serie A? We'll have to wait and see. I'm expecting a busy January across the board in Scottish football. Because not only do I think the Old Firm are both going to spend, I think they're going to be spending on teams in the league. I'm looking at bids at Mayoski. I'm looking at bids at Shankland. And there's going to be other teams that's going to need to spend money as well. But anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below. What Scottish pop rock band had two number one singles in 1975? The Proclaimers. Oh, could be Wet, 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 but I'm thinking Proclaimers. Actually, I'm thinking Proclaimers, but nah, it has to be. It's Proclaimers, isn't it? Has to be Proclaimers. Get Stevie's knowledge. Proclaimers. Bastard, the one I didn't say, Bay City Roars. Wah, wah, wah.